Hello and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I'm Elizabeth Omori. The narrative concerning the nation's security issue is fast changing, with a number of successes lately being recorded across the country. With this, security chiefs are calling on Nigerians to maintain the tempo by giving useful information promptly to agencies involved in the maintenance of law and order. This was at a meeting of the nation's security chiefs presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari. Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, Chief of Air Staff, told State House correspondent Jide Onifade that the current strategy being adopted is effective and would continue to be operated.
And the message that is coming out of that meeting is that the armed forces of Nigeria and other security agencies will continue to work much harder to ensure that every Nigerian is secured and the territorial integrity of Nigeria is not undermined by anybody.
And out to judicial matters, the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has dismissed the suit filed by the NTA Live social cultural organization challenging the validity of the ranching and open grazing prohibition law of 2017 promulgated by the Benue State government. The presiding judge, Justice Okon Abang, gave the verdict this Thursday. Olabode Arewa reports.
The organization approached the court in 2017 praying that it invalidates the law for being inconsistent with the fundamental rights of its members to freedom of movement under the Nigerian Constitution as amended. The court, on the 20th of December 2017, directed NTA Live to file amended originating summons within 5 days. Their failure to comply with the order for more than 19 months prompted the defendants to pray the court to dismiss the suit for lack of diligent prosecution. Justice Okon Abang, in dismissing the suit, noted that despite several reminders by the court, the plaintiffs failed to comply and gave no cogent reason for doing so. The suit was struck out with 100,000 naira cost to be paid to each of the 14 defendants in the case. Efforts to speak with counsel to NTA Live failed.
Anybody that wants to rear cattle in Benue State will follow the good law path to ensure that ranching, the best practices all over the world, is maintained in the state.
We're going to make sure we follow up through the court to recover the money which they awarded in our favor.
Officials of the Benue State government, the Inspector General of Police, and the Movement Against Fulani Occupation are defendants in the suits in Abuja. Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
Now to the Ruga initiative, the Northern Governors Forum has clarifications on federal government's suspension of Ruga initiative. In a statement signed by its chairman, Governor Simon Lalong of Plateau State, the forum described the varied reactions to Ruga settlement initiative as part of the beauty of a democratic process. The forum urges all interest groups, especially from the northern part of the country, to remain calm and channel their views democratically, while federal government handles the matter in the best interest of all Nigerians. The statement notes that the forum is engaging all interested parties after receiving the position of the leadership of the coalition of northern groups with a view to enlighten the public on the concept and wisdom behind the decision. The forum calls for calm while the federal government works on a comprehensive package with a multi-sectoral and multidimensional benefits that will serve the interest of all in the short and long term. Meanwhile, the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos has dismissed an application by the Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Emmanuel Udoh, seeking indefinite adjournment of the money laundering charge brought against him and President of the Nigerian Bar Association, Paul Osoro. Vera Chumba reports that Justice Rilwan Akiawa had ordered the immediate trial of the defendants in the suit.
The Nigerian Bar Association President Paul Osoro is facing allegation of money laundering to the tune of 1.4 billion naira, alongside Akwa Ibom State Governor Emmanuel Odom and others. Governor Odom has asked the court to adjourn the case sine die, that is indefinitely, so as to allow the Lagos Division of the Court of Appeal determine the appeal he filed against the ruling of the court. He is challenging the jurisdiction of the court to entertain the charge against Osoro on the ground that his name was mentioned as one of the persons who allegedly conspired with Osoro to launder the 1.4 billion naira. He argued that by mentioning his name as a sitting governor, the charge has become invalid as he is immune from criminal prosecution as a governor. EFCC counsel argued that adjourning the trial indefinitely will amount to stay of proceedings under Section 306 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act. Justice Aikawa dismissed the application and ordered trial of the defendants. Meanwhile, a witness, Udom Ndogesit, had told the court how she facilitated the payment of 700 million naira into Paul Osoro's account. In Lagos, Viera Chumuba, NTA News.
The Senate has called for improved funding of primary healthcare system in Nigeria and the introduction of modern technologies in treatment of patients. This followed a motion by Senator Oluremi Tinubu and 105 others. The motion highlighted the debilitating state of Nigeria's primary healthcare services. All the senators who spoke observed that the poor utilization of primary healthcare leads to overstretching of the secondary and tertiary healthcare institutions. Senate also resolved to investigate and strengthen National Health Insurance Scheme to ensure wider coverage. And still on legislative matters, Senate President Ahmed Lawan has inaugurated at her committees on legislative agenda and that of media and public affairs. National Assembly correspondent Kenneth Nanim reports that the harder committees are to draft framework to set in motion parliamentary activities for the 9th Senate.
With the standing committee members yet to be constituted, the inauguration of the ad hoc committees becomes imperative to avoid any lacuna in the legislative business of the 9th Senate.
The Senate itself is going to be a bipartisan Senate. What Nigerians expect from us is to also work with the executive arm of government for optimal and efficient service delivery. The other prominent thing we'll do is to oversight those given the responsibility to execute projects on our behalf.
The Legislative Agenda Ad Hoc Committee, being the first to be inaugurated in the 9th Senate, is expected to draft a guide for the operations of the Red Chamber for the next 4 years. This is with the view to addressing challenges of insecurity, corruption, poverty, and poor economic growth, while that of the media and public affairs will ensure that adequate and correct information on the activities of the Senate reaches the public, as well as ensure a proper feedback mechanism.
The Parliament everywhere in the world not only represent people, but inform the citizens, the electorates, what it does, and also ensure that it gets the feedback on what the citizens feel.
The responsibilities we have bestowed upon us are enormous, but we are not going to shy away from duty. We will try as much as possible to discharge our duty with all sense of responsibility.
The Legislative Agenda Ad Hoc Committee, with Senator Adamu Alero as chairman, has 2 weeks to deliver on its mandate.
In the meantime, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters, Senate, Senator Ita Inang, and his counterparts in the House of Representatives, in a press briefing, explained the prospect of some of the bills passed by the 8th National Assembly, of which President Muhammadu Buhari has assented to.
One of which is the Federal Capital Territory Primary Health Care Bill, which he Primary Health Care Board Bill, which he assented to. And this is intended, of course, to develop and promote and indeed make efficient the structure of healthcare delivery in the Federal Capital Territory.
His Excellency, Mr. President, has also assented to the Nigeria Police Trust Fund Establishment Act. This is intended to improve security, bring up the police to the status where other security agencies are in the country through appropriate funding, training of the personnel, provision of facilities and infrastructure, and above all, psyching up the police.
The presidential aides expressed the confidence that President Muhammadu Buhari will consider assent to other bills transmitted by the 8th National Assembly. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Meanwhile, principal officers of the House of Representatives have been constituted with the announcement of names of new majority leaders by the Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that Alhassan Ado Dugowa is now the majority leader of the House of Representatives. Others are Mohammed Tahir Monguno, Chief Whip, Peter Akpatison, Deputy Majority Leader, and Nkiruka Onyejocha, Deputy Chief Whip. Let's now beam our attention to other matters. A combined team of firefighters have successfully contained the raging fire from an NNPC pipeline right-of-way at Ijegun in Lagos. The source of the fire was attributed to bunkering on the pipeline at Fire Junction by suspected vandals who were siphoning fuel into tankers. Paul Umukago reports that so far 2 dead bodies have been recovered.
Shikudi is a victim of the early morning inferno at Fire Junction, Ijegun, Lagos. His commercial vehicle, which he got on hire purchase, was among 31 vehicles gutted by the fire.
It's vandalizers that caused this fire that raised the whole bus here. They are vandalizing the fuel. They have carried almost 13 trucks out. And the 2 that they want to carry out is the one that is burning here now.
Director General of Lagos State Emergency Management Agency and an information officer from the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, confirmed to NTA that 12 vandals who were affected by the fire were rescued.
I need to warn the citizen in this environment that there are a lot of inflammables in here. They need to cooperate with us. They need to be vigilant. This fire will go on long time. However, I can assure you that we are on top of it. It will not damage any properties again because we have localized it. We've curtailed the spread.
We've shutting down the source of supply from the main source of supply, then asking them to shut down the valves, closest valves around there. And until when the fire goes out or is weakened before we can be able to put it out entirely.
Investigations continue with strong security presence at the scene of incident. Apart from the vehicles burnt and 2 casualties, no building in the area was affected. In Lagos, Paul Umukago, NTA News.
We would like to remind you that the concluding part of Ambassador Babagana Kingibe's recorded recollection of June 12 story comes up tonight at 10 p.m. The untold story of June 12 only on the network service of the NTA. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Enjoy the best of African football as NTA, Africa's largest television network and hotspots, Nigeria's foremost sports production and marketing company, bring you all 52 matches of the Africa Cup of Nations, Egypt 2019 live from June 21 to July 19, 2019. Yes, all 52 games will hit your screens in crystal clear digital quality. It's your guarantee of a memorable viewing experience and a wonderful cost-effective opportunity for corporate Nigeria to reach tens of millions of Nigerians. For sponsorship and commercial support, contact Abubakar on 0803-331-0175 and Felix on 0803-308-2375. Hot Sports, masters of the game. NTA, you can't beat the reach.
Do you desire to master new techniques and technologies of camera operations? Then you must attend NTA TV College Special 4-week intensive course on modern camera operation techniques. The course is designed for cameramen in private and public television stations, ministries, departments, agencies, and faith-based organizations. Take advantage of the course to upgrade your professional skills in single and multi-camera operations within just 4 weeks. Also, a special course on intermediate online news reporting skills for journalists, multimedia producers, and freelance reporters will run concurrently. Take advantage of NTA TV College's special 4-week course on online news reporting to upscale your capacity in computer-assisted reporting, social media content production strategies, online media platforms for dissemination of information, and much more. The venue for both courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA Television College near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos, Plateau State. Date 8th July to 2nd August 2019. Course fee 100,000 naira only per participant. Accommodation inclusive. For more information, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA Television College, Jos, training you to be the best you want to be.
They are there at the crack of dawn. They are there busy preparing while we rise for our day. They are there silently, guarding, waiting, listening, and watching. They are there ready in the sky above and the waters below, in the blistering heat of the day, in the dead of night, willing, indefatigable, determined in the defense of the sovereignty of our country. They are our first line of defense and our last. They who have paid the ultimate price in defending us. They are fathers and uncles. They are mothers and sisters and girlfriends and boyfriends. They are brothers and cousins and best friends and neighbors. They are classmates, colleagues, and citizens of this nation. They are our defenders and deserve our respect, our prayers, our thoughts. Nigeria, please support our armed forces.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online, or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
Thanks for staying with us. The first African Union coordination meeting with regional economic communities is underway in Niger Republic as more countries, including Nigeria, sign into the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, which is expected to facilitate greater trade within the continent. Let's now join Foreign Desk correspondent Makut Simon Macham, who is at the summit, for an update.
Now, essentially, this is the first mid-year coordination meeting between the African Union and regional economic communities. It is also the 12th extraordinary summit of the African Continental Free Trade Area. Now, this meeting wants to ensure that all the details about the operations of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement are fine-tuned as more countries sign in. As you may be aware, President Muhammadu Buhari will be signing on behalf of Nigeria, having ensured that all the reservations and all the issues that were raised by various bodies in Nigeria were carefully considered and indeed addressed. So President Muhammadu Buhari will be joining his counterparts here in Niamey, in Niger Republic, to sign this document, which is the first stage for Nigeria, and indeed other stages will follow. Now, before the heads of states will meet, the Council of Ministers, which is the Executive Council of the African Union, is meeting, and Nigeria is represented here by the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Mustafa Suleiman, who is leading the delegation for now as the ambassador here in Niger Republic, and of course Nigeria's permanent representatives to the African Union in Addis Ababa are all here to ensure that Nigeria's presentation to these meetings are fine-tuned ahead of the coming of the president and his wife. For now, these are some of the information we'll have for you. We'll keep you in touch as soon as we get more details. From Niamey in Niger Republic, I am Makut Simon Macham, NTA News.
Thank you, Simon Macham. And away from the summit, sustainable reintegration of ex-agitators remains one way of permanently preventing them from returning to violence, militancy, or any form of criminality. Udwak Etim in Calabar reports that this reform strategy would ensure peace and stability, especially in the Niger Delta region. Details will come in our subsequent bulletin. Moving on, beneficiaries of the Niger Delta Presidential Amnesty Program are set to use the technology incubation centers across the country for training and empowerment in the agricultural and allied sector. This hopeful will improve their expertise in various areas of specialization. This is sealed with the signing of Memorandum of Understanding between the National Board for Technology Incubation and the Amnesty Office to use 23 technology incubation centers allocated to it for cluster manufacturing by beneficiaries of the Amnesty Program. This partnership with MBTI, aimed at enhancing the achievement of the goal of empowering the beneficiaries, is also to ensure that the beneficiaries register their products with the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC.
We appreciate your partnership with the Amnesty Office in achieving the goal of empowering the Amnesty delegates.
NPTI is benefited from the fact that we are going to use the opportunity to source for additional technologies within the area so that we can convert them into knowledge-driven and sustainable enterprises in such a way that the trainees will in future become key players in the nation's economy.
The Ministry of Science and Technology sees this partnership as value addition to the lives of the youths of the Niger Delta and has urged the partnering agencies to logically implement the provisions of the MOU to be beneficial not only to the Niger Delta but the entire nation.
Of Memorandum of Understanding today will further put into use the facilities of the National Board for Technology Incubation and at the same time add value to the lives of the delegates of the Niger Delta Amnesty Program. This will in no doubt further improve on the security situation of the Niger Delta region.
The 23 NBTI Technology Incubation Centers approved for the Amnesty Program are allocated in Edo, Abia, Imo, Ondo, Rivers, Cross River, Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, and Niger States, Delta States. And out to the rains. As the rains get heavier in the country, weather and hydrology experts on Good Morning Nigeria have called for the establishment of adequate structures to help manage the excess inflow of water caused by flood. This, they say, will help ameliorate the damaging effects caused by the natural phenomenon. Daniel Aderi tells us more.
Relevant agencies like the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency and the Nigerian Meteorological Agency do well to give timely alerts as regards flood outlook for the year. Sister agencies at both state and local government levels have been advised to be structured and committed to response to flood situations.
While federal government has been doing a lot to ensure that NEMA is properly organized, NEMA is properly funded, and then NEMA is properly empowered to discharge its mandate. When you go to the state and to the local government, you don't find complementary arrangement.
Now that flooding is going to be a major thing in Nigeria and it will continue to be a major thing, we can find dams that are specifically designed for flood control.
Noting that flood is a natural disaster that cannot be stopped or curbed, proper integration and cohesion of all relevant agencies is expected to help improve and reduce the level of damage as well as improve the response rate to emergencies associated with flood.
All the institutions, all the agencies, all the stakeholders, be it state or local government, and any other person must integrate. After the prediction, what next?
What is lacking is proactive measures being taken by governments, state governments or stakeholders, to mitigate the negative impact of flood.
The guests, however, advocated that flood reports and outlooks as given by relevant agencies be put to prompt and adequate use to help with spread awareness. In Abuja, Daniel Adiriye, NTA.
And once again, would like to remind you that the concluding part of Ambassador Babagana Kingibe's recorded recollection of June 12 story comes up tonight at 10 p.m. The untold story of June 12, only on the network service of the NTA. Education service delivery for all bidder launched in Maiduguri and Borno State government assures core members serving in the state provision of adequate security. These and more with Naomi in our Maiduguri Network Center. Hello, Naomi.
And welcome to Maiduguri.
Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai has commended the gallantry efforts of troops of 120 Battalion Guneri for successfully repelling Boko Haram attack on the area. The Corps made the commendation in a message to the troops conveyed by the theater commander Operation Lafia Dole when he visited them at the front line. Memuna Garba reports.
It could be recalled that last Wednesday, troops of 120 Battalion Goneri, during an encounter with the terrorists, recovered 5 gun trucks and ammunition, as well as inflicted serious casualties on the site of the insurgents. Following the successes recorded by the troops, the Chief of Army Staff directed the Theater Commander Operation Lafia Dole to visit the troops and commend them for their effort. Addressing troops shortly after inspecting the items recovered, Theater Commander Operation Lafia Dole, Major General Benson Akinrulio, informed the troops that the battle is not yet over, hence the need for them to be more decisive and deal with the insurgents. He called on them to remain focused and determined and to also take the battle to the terrorist enclave.
We're on the right path. We are doing our best. There's improvement. And sooner or later than you expected, peace will come to the Northeast. And with the collective support of everybody, we know that we'll be there sooner than expected.
2 bulls were presented to the troops in recognition of their effort.
The troops here are in high spirit with the commitment to rid the general area of terrorism. From Goneri in Yobe State, Memuna Garba, NTA News.
Thank you, Memuna. Better Education Service Delivery for All BESTA, a World Bank-assisted program that will cater for the needs of out-of-school children, has been launched in Maiduguri. To this end, Borno State government is planning to convene a summit in order to draw up a blueprint for the education sector in the state. Muhammad Goni reports.
The objective of BESTA program is to increase equitable access for out-of-school children, improve literacy and strengthen accountability for results at the basic education level in the focus states. The program focuses on 17 states in the country, which include the entire 13 states of the Northwest and the Northeast geopolitical zone, as well as Niger, Oyo, Ebonyi, and Rivers states. The selection of states for the World Bank-assisted program was based on the prevalence of the number of out-of-school children. Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum said the BESTA program came at a time when the state government constructed about 40 mega schools to take the over 40,000 children orphaned by the insurgency and the other unaccompanied children of the street, and further assured the readiness of the state government to achieve maximum benefit of the program.
I therefore urge all stakeholders in education in Borno State, the Universal Basic Education Board, to give their maximum cooperation and support to managers of this project.
Represented by the Executive Director of Basic Education, Dr. Lamia Hamadou, the Permanent Secretary, Federal Minister of Education, Sonny Ochono, appreciated the World Bank for initiating the Better Education Service Delivery for All project and the provision of the sum of $611 to support the Nigerian government in strengthening universal basic education. National Coordinator of BESTA, Professor Gidado Tahir, advised the benefiting states to identify the target groups and plan well for them to drive maximum benefit. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
Corps members serving in Borno State have been assured of adequate protection and security. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum stated this when he received the Director General of National Youth Service Corps Scheme, Brigadier General Shaibu Ibrahim, at the Government House, Maiduguri. Again, Muhammad Goni reports.
Professor Babagana Umar commended the Corps members serving in Borno for their support and selfless services. He enjoined the Director General of the scheme to allow the 2020 batches of the Corps members to undergo orientation exercise in Maiduguri, as government will provide the camp with all the needed facilities and beef up security.
The Corps members that are to be sent to Borno State has to be those that can add value to the society, especially in the areas of healthcare, the areas of education, especially in the areas of science teachers, chemistry, physics, mathematics, English.
On payment of the Corps members' allowances, the Governor directed the Office of the STSG to compile a comprehensive data of all serving Corps members in the state, adding that payment of allowances to the Corps members should henceforth be made through bank to ensure accountability. Director General NYSC Brigadier General Shoaibu Ibrahim expressed gratitude to the government and people of Borno for the hospitality accorded the corps members in the state and the efforts made to secure the release of the abducted corps member in the state. He equally acknowledged measures taken by the state government to address the challenges associated with payment of corps members' allowances, assuring that the state will have more corps members. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Koni, NTA News.
And that is it from Maiduguri. It's back to Elizabeth in Abuja.
Thank you so much, Naomi. Now to electoral matters. The media coverage given to the 2019 general elections was a clear demonstration of patriotism. Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu stated this at a stakeholders meeting with the media in reviewing the conduct of the 2019 general elections in Abuja. Mia Ogidi reports.
Pleasantries are never in short supply in gatherings like this, because the fourth estate is quite a busy one. So, all is done in arrears. Being gatekeepers, these media chiefs avert wars, calm rising tensions, set agenda for the government, all in the interest of the nation. The 2019 elections were even more tasking in the delivery of these national assignments, where perception and truth competing for supremacy with the penetration of the social media. 2,131 domestic and foreign journalists from 202 media outfits were on the field, and their experiences will enrich the idea bank of the INEC.
The media did not disappoint before, during, and after the election. We were never at any point in time found wanting.
The live coverage on television, radio, online newspapers, and live streaming on other platforms, free of charge, gratis. The Commission didn't pay for this.
Such kindness and patriotism from the fourth power rekindles the spirit of comradeship in the INEC chairman.
I want to assure you, Larry, that that spirit of making our country work for all Nigerians is still in us, and it will remain in me forever.
2 months from now, all the contributions from the stakeholders will be in a compendium for a better outing in 2023. Mie Ogidi, NTA News.
Still on electoral matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission says it will take a critical look at some issues that would endanger better democratic practices towards a more credible pathway to elections and electoral practices. This followed the presentation of the post-2019 General Elections Review Roundtable at the Center for Transparency and Advocacy, an accredited local election observer group. Timothy Yusuf reports.
The 2019 general elections have come and gone. Stakeholders have, however, continued to review, appraise the outcomes, mistakes made, the successes, lessons learned, and of course rejig the process for the forthcoming Kogi and Bayelsa States governorship elections, and ultimately the 2023 general elections, which is about 1,200 days away. Executive Director of the Center for Transparency Advocacy, Faith Wadichi, championed this gathering of stakeholders with the presentation of the 2019 general elections final report. The report centers on 13 key recommendations, commending INEC for the conduct of a credible exercise.
We feel that the political class, being the overall beneficiaries of an electoral process, they should actually be the ones in the forefront of making our elections better.
The recommendations made are essentially to make amends for areas of concern by the stakeholders gathered under this roof. INEC, on its part, has promised readiness to make amends, especially as the Commission deliberates on continuous voter registration, whether or not to deregister non-performing political parties, and the need for improved internal democracy within political parties.
We are open in relation to all these engagements and all the recommendations that have been made so far.
The November 16 governorship elections in Kogi and Bayelsa states, as well as other off-season elections, are expected to witness more improvement before the 2023 general elections. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
To other matters of concern now, if Nigeria is to get it right in bringing to an end the menace of hate speech, fake news and cybercrime, all hands must be on deck. This is the view of stakeholders during a one-day sensitization seminar organized by the National Orientation Agency in collaboration with the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA. Yusuf Umar tells us more.
Peter Afunanya, the spokesperson of the Department of State Security Service, DSS, working to join other participants at a one-day seminar organized by the National Orientation Agency in collaboration with NTA to find ways of curbing the menace of fake news, hate speech, and cyber crimes in the country, issues that have not only created disharmony amongst the citizens, but also poses threats to national security. Renowned political scientist Professor Kabiru Macho, Director General of NTA, who was represented, and the Director General of NOAA were all of the view that a value reorientation, attitudinal change, and legislations are needed for Nigeria to tackle hate speech, fake news, and cyber crimes.
Hate speech, fake news, and cyber crimes, in my view, have constituted very serious issues of gargantuan problems that, in fact, did result in several other countries to the occurrences that were catastrophic to human existence.
There is no gainsaying the fact that unguided utterances by some community, traditional, religious, and political leaders have both been provocative and inciting, in many instances leading to acrimony, enmity, and violence.
That we in the NOA have found the partnership with the NTA very rewarding.
It was unanimously agreed that everyone has a role to play and that action should begin immediately. In Abuja, Yusuf Umar, NTA News.
Meanwhile, 70 participants have benefited from capacity-building training on fingerlings production and hatchery management aimed at creating jobs and boosting fish production in Nigeria. Correspondent Abdullah Ibrahim reports that the training was conducted by the National Institute for Freshwater Fisheries Research, New Busa, Borgo local government area of Niger State.
Three-day capacity-building training had youth and women drawn from southeast and southwest of the country as participants. The training involved both oral and practical lessons on how to rear and produce fish in large scale for commercial purpose. The participants were exposed to the nitty-gritty of aquaculture development, particularly in the area of fingerlings production and hatchery management. The Acting Executive Director, National Institute for Freshwater Fisheries Research, Dr. Nathaniel Bankole, stressed the importance of youth empowerment in the area of fish production. He disclosed that about 80,000 metric tons of fish is imported into the country annually, hence the need to discourage such practice by training adequate number of Nigerians in freshwater fisheries production and management.
Nigeria is spending so much on importing fish into the country. By the time all the youths are keyed into this nationwide, Nigeria will be the better for it.
Other members of the management committee also advised the beneficiaries to remain focused on their chosen career to create wealth for themselves and boost fish production in the country. The beneficiaries thanked the organizers for giving them the opportunity to become managers on their chosen endeavor. Certificates and 70,000 naira was given to each of the participants as a starter pack. In New Busa, Abdullah Ibrahim, NTA News.
Still on empowerment, families and dependents of military personnel have continued to benefit from various empowerment schemes, the latest being a group of 4 to 5 women and youths who have just gained digital and artisan skills, courtesy of the Defense and Police Officers' Wives Association, DEPOA. Correspondent Najato Tijani reports.
Wearing graduation gowns signifying the fulfillment of requirements as certified caterers, computer operators and fashion designers among various skills, these women have one thing in common. They are dependents of military personnel, a status which is about to change.
We go out proudly as ambassadors of this institution and offer outstanding service to our nation with the drive to make a difference.
It's very important that we prioritize the welfare and well-being of our fallen heroes' widows. Their words, and the needy in the society. To the graduates, I say well done. We have groomed you to help secure your future and in the process, be an employer of labor.
You don't sit at home. You depend on God, but God will not come down from heaven. You have to help yourself. Like they say, think big and start small.
Rachel Alarima, a widow, agrees that her new vocation as a fashion designer will help her plan a better future for her children.
And to be able to make input and impact to the society.
Graduates also received starter packs, cash and various equipment to augment their business. Najaa Tijani, NTA News.
And as part of its humanitarian services through the society, the Nigerian Army Medical Corps 3 Brigade Kano has organized medical outreach in Karaye local government to provide free medical services to indigent people. Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports that the exercise was conducted as part of this year's Army Day celebration. Details will come in our subsequent bulletin. Moving on, our recent reports by the United Nations revealed that at least 1 out of every youth in Nigeria stand the risk of drug abuse. However, as more awareness on drugs and substance abuse continue to spread on all fronts, the United States of America is providing assistance to Nigeria to tackle this unhealthy lifestyle, which is of global concern. Doindia reports.
The reports by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime revealed that over 14 million Nigerians engage in drugs and substance abuse, most of them women and adolescents. Codeine cough syrup and tramadol are two of such drugs that tops the list, especially amongst young people. To clamp down on these, the United States of America Embassy in Nigeria is complementing the effort of the federal government to create better awareness
and improve our capacity to avoid illicit drug use, as well as increase awareness and understanding of healthy life choices among Nigerians.
Andrew Dodo is one of those once affected by drug abuse, but was lucky enough to come out of the abbey 26 years ago. He narrated his experience.
I also experienced loss of control. I would say I would touch only a little, but I ended up taking as much as possible.
Today, Andrew has not just recovered from such an unhealthy lifestyle, he is also using the social interaction mechanism to help other people engaging in drugs and substance abuse.
With all our hands put together, we are going to succeed.
3 states in the northern Nigeria, namely Kano, Kaduna, Gombe, and the Federal Capital Territory, are partaking in the pilot edition of the Reclaiming Future in the northern Nigeria.
The general story with drug addiction is I want to quit, but I don't know how. It's a very long-term treatment plan.
We did different kind of things that will encourage students and told students that if there's any advice they want, they should come to our mentor.
The NDLA has rehabilitation programs and some of the other ministries have rehabilitation programs that are helpful, but it really needs the resources available to be able to do that.
In the Northern Nigeria project, which has 297 facilitators, is working with drug victims in schools, IDP camps, and motor parks within the 4 cities. In Abuja, Doing, Dia, NTA News.
Operatives of the Central Naval Command, Yenagoa Bayelsa State, have intercepted 4 vessels loaded with products suspected to be illegally refined automation gas oil. While on patrol, 7 suspects arrested in connection have been handed over with the exhibit to the EFCC for necessary action. Awe Baratapre reports.
Messiah 1 and Barge Miracle, both belonging to Mercy Abdi Logistics and Multilinks Limited, were accosted at Nigerian Ajib Oil Company, Naok Terminal Brass, while about to discharge products suspected to be illegally refined diesel. Barge Kome 18 and Nicholas Marine were also accosted, with 7 crew members on their way to supply the same AGO to Naok Terminal at Brass. The team, led by Flag Officer Commanding Central Naval Command Yenagoa, Rear Admiral Saidu Suleiman Garba, disclosed that the impounded vessels have an estimated 500,000 liters of automotive gas oil AGO capacity. Rear Admiral Saidu Garba reiterated that the service will continue to uphold the tenet of zero tolerance against crude oil theft, pipeline vandalism, illegal oil bunkering, and other sundry crimes in the Niger Delta region.
The product that they took could not be accounted for from any other source. Their second offense was that even after arrest, we tested the products that they carried, and we found out that those products fell below the standard requirement for AGO.
Samples of the products obtained from various vessels failed the Directorate of Petroleum Resources laboratory testing, thereby confirming that they are illegally refined. The 4 vessels were handed over to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission for further investigation and prosecution. Leader of the EFCC team, Principal Detective Superintendent Shehu Jibrila, warned oil criminals to desist from unwholesome activities, saying the EFCC has zero tolerance to illegal oil bunkering and oil theft.
And we're not done with security yet. Sokoto State Police Command has arrested suspected criminals for allegedly committing different offences. Shehu Mohammed Data reports that the suspects were paraded by the State Commissioner of Police, Ibrahim Sani Kauji.
Muhammad of Gidamboe village of Rabah local government was arrested along Ngorogo roundabout in possession of a locally made pistol. Garbabala of Jos North area in Plateau State, Jefta Ochemi of Kaduna South, and Ahmad Olasukami of same Kaduna South local government of Kaduna State were arrested for alleged criminal conspiracy and theft. The 3-man gang were said to have conspired and broke into the car belonging to Suraj Sanda and removed the sum of 1,300,000 naira, which the owner withdrew from Jaiz Bank. The police commissioner also presented Jibril Abdul of Doso of Niger Republic in possession of a motorcycle. Upon investigation, Jibril Abdul said while on his way to Niger Republic, he stole the motorcycle at Kalambana Main Gate area, Sokoto Central Market. An investigation reveals that he was a dismissed military personnel in Niger Republic and is being suspected of involvement in different crimes. The CP also paraded Ibrahim Labaran of Gandui area, Sokoto, who allegedly conspired with Abba, known as Commander, who is at large, and broke into the Njima Mosque, stealing a generator and standing fan, which are valued at 62,000 naira. Another crime of house trespass and theft by Sayidu Bello of Ilela Darimi in Tambo local government was presented before newsmen. The suspect allegedly trespassed into the house of Abubakar Balarabi, stealing 9 handsets, 4 pairs of shoes, and the sum of 16,500 naira. 6 cell phones, 3 pairs of shoes, and 4,000 naira were recovered from the suspect. The police commissioner noted that all the cases are still under investigation. In Sokoto, Shehu Muhammad Detti, NTA News.
This is Nationwide on NTA. Would like to remind you that the concluding part of Ambassador Babagana Kingibe's recorded recollection of June 12 story comes up tonight at 10 p.m. The Untold Story of June 12 only on the network service of the NTA. We'll take another break now. More reports when we return. Stay with us.
Announces admissions into 2-year diploma programs in film and television production, television engineering, and broadcast journalism. The sale of forms will commence on the 13th of May and run through 30th July 2019. Admission forms can be obtained from all marketing offices, NTA state capital stations, zonal centers, or at the office of the academic secretary, NTA Television College, Rayfield, Jos.
On payment of a non-refundable fee of 7,500 naira in bank draft in favor of NTA TV College. Applicants can also obtain the forms through the NTA TV College portal at www.ntatvc.edu.nj.
Applicants are required to possess 5 credits in GCE or SSCE in relevant areas of study in not more than 2 sittings, including English and mathematics. All properly completed forms attached with photocopies of credentials must be submitted on or before 30th July 2019. For further inquiries, please visit our website at ntatvc.com or call 0803 3144 383.
NTA TV College, training you to be the best you want to be.
Registrar Announcer.
One Football Confederation, 24 teams, 6 stadiums, 4 cities, 504 African stars, 1 trophy. The Africa Cup of Nations Egypt 2019 comes alive from June 21 with the showpiece final on July 19, 2019. Watch the 52 matches of the tournament live on Africa's biggest and largest television network, NTA, in partnership with Hot Sports. Be part of the biggest soccer fiesta in the African continent as the Super Eagles go on a bold mission to clinch the prestigious title for the 4th time, to the excitement of millions of fans across the length and breadth of Nigeria. Nigeria's premier sports production and marketing group, Hot Sports, partners with the biggest, the largest, and the #1 television network in Africa, the NTA, to give Nigerians a memorable viewing experience. Boost fan support for the Super Eagles to glory in Egypt. For inquiries, please contact Abubakar on 0803-331-0175 and Felix on 0803-308-2375. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
My name is Baba Kingibe. Chief Abiola was asked by Abuja, and he did give names of people who should join his government.
The annulment, the intrigues, the maneuvers.
I wasn't aware whether he gave my name, but his reaction to me clearly indicated that he didn't give my name. Given the background of general support by MKO Abiola and the party to the Abacha coup, I did not see any reason why I shouldn't be involved.
June 12, the untold story.
With heavy hearts, we announce the death of Honorable Haske Francis Hanania, which occurred on Tuesday, 25th June 2019. The funeral arrangement is as follows. Friday, 5th July, corpse leaves National Hospital Abuja to Yola by air and then proceeds to Hong local government area for lying in state at General Hanania's residence. Time 7 a.m. Saturday, 6th July, funeral service at LCCN number 1 Hong and interment at Central Cemetery Hong. Time 10 a.m. Announcer H.A. Hanania for the family.
In this world anymore, I have.
Thanks for staying with us. Now, Obey is in our Benin Network Center. She's standing by for more reports on Nationwide.
Hello, Elizabeth. Thank you for joining us in Benin. Edo State government is demolishing structures erected on waterways in parts of Benin. The move is part of measures to address flooding in the state. Ogochukuka Ona reports on this and the governor's inspection of projects in the metropolis.
This is what happens in most parts of Benin metropolis whenever it rains, leaving properties worth thousands of naira destroyed and a good number of families rendered homeless. To arrest this situation, the State Executive Council approved 9 billion naira for the construction of integrated drainage system to address flooding and also directed relevant ministries to ensure the removal of structures along the waterways. Now, the bulldozers have been rolled out in compliance. Structures affected are those along waterways, moats, riverbanks, and transmission lines. The state government is urging residents to comply with the earlier directive issued or face the law.
We encourage people to not waste their money because this exercise we are doing here, this removal exercise, is actually not pleasant.
In the meantime, Governor Godwin Obaseki and the Deputy Governor, Philip Shaibu, have inspected some projects, including road construction works in the city, with an assurance that government is addressing the issue of flooding with the seriousness it deserves.
I had reports from inhabitants that there were drainage problems, and I wanted to see for myself. It's a long stretch, it's a long road, about 15 kilometers, and there are about 5 low points in that, along the stretch. And when it rained, you could see a lot of homes were flooded. So we wanted to understand the design and how to properly channel the flood waters.
In Benin, Ngochkuka Ona, NTA News.
The National Health Act signed into law in 2014 is yielding results in Delta State as Governor Ifeanyi Okowa inaugurates the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. Helen Duku reports that Delta State is amongst the league of states that are translating the benefits of the program to reality.
Kingsley Utwaru, who represented the governor, says Delta State is on its journey to achieving the universal basic health coverage.
Our resolve, therefore, is to work in the next 4 years to ensure our primary health care system is responsive to the needs of all Deltas.
Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Health, Abdulaziz Mashi Abdullahi, described Nigeria as one of the worst health-ranked nations in the world. He applauded Delta and other states for running swiftly with the provisions of the National Health Law.
The Primary Health Care Fund is going to be distributed 50% to the State Contributory Health Commission, 45% through the State Primary Health Care Development Agency, and 5% at the federal level for emergencies.
Permanent Secretary Delta State, Dr. Mini Oseji, thanks the state government for its initiative and other international donors that make the program a reality. It behoves on all stakeholders in the health industry in this state to make judicious use of this provision in order to achieve universal health coverage and particularly health for all Deltans. In Akukwibo, I'm Helen Dunku, NTA News.
And that's it from Benin. It's over to Elizabeth in Abuja for the concluding part of Nationwide.
Thank you so much, Obey. And that's Nationwide today. Thank you so much for watching.